Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're chronicling the untold story of the cocaine bear.
You're safe. Bears can't climb trees.
Of course I can!
Then why are you up here?
For this video, we're looking at the true story behind Elizabeth Banks' action comedy about blood, blow, and bears. Have you ever come across a wild animal that did drugs? If so, please share a very detailed account in the comments. A true story? Cocaine Bear is one of the most bonkers movies of recent memory. The premise, which is exactly what it sounds like, is only made more ludicrous knowing that it was inspired by true events, as the ads proudly proclaim.
How about Cocaine Bear?
No, I haven't seen that, but that's hilarious. That's a true story.
I heard that's a true story.
Yeah, bears lead anything, man.
The inspired part of that statement should be emphasized, though. As for the true events part, Cocaine Bear is more historically accurate than something like Fargo.
I'm not going to debate you, Jerry.
Okay.
I'm not going to sit here and debate. I will say this, though. What Shep told us didn't make a whole lot of sense.
Oh no, it's real sound. It's all worked out.
Yet many of the characters and events depicted in the film are fictional. The setup, however, is based on an actual incident that occurred in late 1985. Of course, something like this would happen in the 80s.
It was almost like a movie. You know, you wouldn't believe it. You know, it seemed too good to be true.
Before we get to know the bear, let's go back to 1944 when Andrew C. Thornton II was born in Knoxville, Tennessee. Smugglers' run and downfall. The eldest son of horsemen Carter Thornton and Peggy Thornton, Andrew C. Thornton II was raised on his family's Threve, Maine stud farm, which is still in operation today. Upon graduating from Sewanee Military Academy, Andrew attended the University of Kentucky before dropping out to join the Army. Taking part in the USA's intervention of the Dominican Civil War, he was awarded a Purple Heart. Thornton briefly returned to his studies, but he left school again to work with his father as a horse trainer. Over the next few years, Thornton became one of the Lexington Police Department's first narcotics squad members and attained a law degree. Despite joining a firm, Thornton ultimately never practiced law, instead pursuing a very different career path.
By a surprise turn of events, ended up getting involved in a drug smuggling operation.
Become a Watch Mojo channel member and get exclusive perks like Mojo emojis, loyalty badges, priority comment replies, and exclusive members-only content, including live list rankings with the Mojo staff and peeks behind the scenes. Don't miss out. In the early 80s, Thornton and 24 others were accused of smuggling weapons and conspiring to move 1,000 pounds of weed.
They were not surprised. It was the 1980s, after all.
Well, I've read a lot about it and watch it on the news a lot, so I wasn't really.
Entering a not guilty plea, Thornton fled from California to North Carolina, where he was arrested with a pistol and bulletproof vest in his possession. While Thornton dodged felony charges, he did 6 months in prison with 5 years probation. He was also fined $500 and lost his law license, but Thornton soon fell back into old habits. Although Thornton was paranoid that Armageddon was coming, he seemed to go through life as if he were invincible. DEA agent Robert Brightwell described him as, quote, a 007 paramilitary type personality, an adventurer driven by adrenaline rushes.
It was a multi-agency case, FBI, the TBI, everybody got involved with it.
Thornton bragged about being a pilot, killing a German shepherd with his martial arts skills, and opening a parachute below 2,000 feet when skydiving. These claims made Thornton's downfall especially ironic. On September 11, 1985, Thornton and an accomplice, allegedly fugitive Ruben Soto, were on a self-flying Cessna 404. After dropping cocaine packages around Blairsville, Georgia, both men jumped, but Thornton's parachute got caught. Knoxville local Fred Myers found Thornton on his driveway, dead and wearing Gucci loafers.
I saw this parachute and a gentleman laying there on the ground, and Mr. Myers asked me what it was.
Thornton also had a duffel containing at least $15 million worth of cocaine, another $4,500, and weapons. A woman left a note at Thornton's grave, reading, quote, I will always love you, Rebecca. It was from his girlfriend, who was allegedly going to pick Thornton up. Legal action was taken against Soto and Sharp, although the charges against the latter were dropped. But what about the cocaine that got dumped? This is not over, Bears. On December 23, 1985, about 3 months after Thornton's death, news broke that a roughly 150-pound black bear was discovered dead in Fannin County.
A black bear popped up dead from an overdose.
By the bear's side were 40 scattered, torn-open cocaine packages. The bear had been deceased for an estimated 4 weeks, apparently overdosing. According to Dr. Kenneth Alonzo, Georgia State Crime Lab's chief medical examiner, 3 to 4 grams of the illegal substance were in the bear's bloodstream.
No, don't eat that, don't eat that.
When Alonzo checked the stomach, it was, quote, literally packed to the brim with cocaine. It's believed that the bear consumed 75 pounds of cocaine with a price tag of $2 million.
The bear hemorrhaged, had heart, renal, and respiratory failure, a stroke, and more. Basically, he went out in a bad way.
On the scene was the Georgia Bureau of Investigation's Gary Garner, who said, quote, there's nothing left but bones and a big hide. While the bear was deceased, Alonzo thought the body was otherwise in good shape. Rather than let it go to waste, Alonzo and his hunting pal had the bear taxidermied.
Also nicknamed Pablo Escobar, was taxidermied.
They donated the bear to Chattahoochee River National Recreation Area, although its plaque didn't advertise the overdose. Fast forward to the early 90s, and the park moved the stuffed bear to a Dalton storage facility as risk of a wildfire loomed. The following month, the bear had vanished with some other stored artifacts.
For a long time, no one cared about this bear.
A few items were found at a Nashville pawn shop, but the bear had been sold. To who? According to legend, Waylon Jennings, a country music singer who was almost on the same flight that killed the Big Bopper, Buddy Holly, and Richie Valens. There are conflicting accounts of what happened here. The pawn shop owner reportedly claimed that he had no knowledge of the bear's bizarre background. However, Jennings supposedly claimed that the pawn shop owner called him about the bear, relaying its cocaine-laced history in great detail. He left out the part about it being stolen, however. Upon purchasing the bear, Jennings gifted it to his friend Ron Thompson, a Las Vegas hustler who was possibly a client of Thornton's. At least, that's the legend. Jennings' son Shooter denied that his father ever possessed such a bear. His manager stated, quote, Waylon Jennings never owned a taxidermied bear of any kind, and never lived in Las Vegas, which some have attributed to this story. Maybe Waylon Jennings' involvement in this tale is pure embellishment. Maybe Jennings did buy the bear and never told his son about it. Either way, the bear resided with Thompson until his death in 2009. Among Thompson's possessions up for auction was a taxidermied North American black bear, which Ju Tong of Reno bought for $200. Tong put the bear on display at his Chinese medicine shop. After Tong passed away in 2012, his wife saved the bear. While Mrs. Tong wasn't a fan of the bear, she felt obligated to keep the artifact because it was one of her husband's favorite things. The Kentucky for Kentucky Fun Mall tracked Mrs. Tong down, confirming the bear to be the same one who consumed Thornton's coke.
We got a hold of him back in 2015 and just really have taken a hold of his whole crazy past.
Mrs. Tong was willing to part with the bear as long as the Lexington Mall paid for shipping. The mall thus turned the bear into its mascot, putting it on merchandise like postcards, candles, and blow globes. There are even t-shirts reading Cocaine Bear, Ultimate Party Animal.
The souvenir shop sells Cocaine Bear merch, like Christmas ornaments, shirts, stickers, hats, socks, accessories, and more.
Visitors can get a picture with the real Cocaine Bear, or Pablo Escobar as some call it. Cocaine Bear's story is touched upon in the 1990 book The Bluegrass Conspiracy. Thornton's death also inspired the season 4 premiere of Justified.
What the heck? Dear Lord.
Jimmy J.J. Jones, who was the Knox County Sheriff during the 1985 case, said, quote, it was almost like a movie. It took over 35 years, but Cocaine Bear finally reached the big screen.
Jones said he's intrigued by the horror comedy based on true events.
Oh, well, I'll watch it.
Cocaine Bear Goes Hollywood. Matthew Rhys portrays Thornton, and Fred Myers is mentioned in passing, but the film's characters are otherwise made up.
Come on.
So cute. Oh, there's nothing to be afraid of, Christopher.
I'm not afraid.
It's hard to say what happened between Thornton's death and the bear's consumption of the cocaine. Considering that no mangled corpses were found, it's safe to say the bear didn't go on a drugged-out rampage. Rather, the cocaine led to heart failure, a stroke, and other medical problems that ended the bear's life. While the film is next-level bonkers, the true story is stranger than fiction. In a way, its twists and turns are reminiscent of Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. Just replace Marion Crane with a drug smuggler, the stolen money with cocaine, and Norman Bates with a curious bear. Hey, both stories even have taxidermy in common.
My hobby is stuffing things. You know, taxidermy.
While Cocaine Bear is played for laughs, there is an important message at its core. Only you can prevent drug-fueled wild animals. Tune in next time when we discuss the untold story of 2023's other horror comedy about a killer bear with an addiction, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
We used to be friends. Why are you doing this, please? I would have never left, I swear.
Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.